Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Guacamelee 2. In the last part, we went through the entirety of the Obsidian Temple and lost down the Obsidian Relic because Salvador kind of overpowered us. And now we're in hell. You know, as you do. And at the moment immediately our progress is blocked, but thankfully there is a nearby golden chicken area that will allow us to get a new ability that's going to help us out here in the long run. Don't give up, traveler. You are courageous, and your power is growing. With our ancient Poyo glide technique, you will gain mastery of the elements. Gravity's very hold on you will weaken. You will float on the air like a valiant leaf. Essentially, we can glide. You just hold down the jump button, and you'll go. May the winds of bravery be ever under your wing. Thank you? This is actually one of the chicken's most useful abilities in the game, just because there is now very little horizontal distance you can't cover. And coming out of this with a Poyo shot, or even transforming back into Wrestler Juan and using the Rooster Uppercut, you can get some pretty good distance. Also, it's worth mentioning that the reason that this episode's happening is because we hit 230 subscribers, which I'm not surprised it happened so soon. We were at 220-something when we last met. But, again, thank you guys for helping us reach that. I know I say that basically with every single special. With the relatively low amount it takes for me to hit a milestone at our current channel size, it doesn't take much, but I'm grateful for each and every single one of you, every single time this happens. It's also around this point in the game where your upgrades are going to start really coming together, because you're going to be getting a lot more gold from each encounter than you would have prior, and we're going to soon be getting a very particular ability known as gold hits, where above a 25 hit combo streak, you'll start gaining gold on each attack, which makes getting money much easier. Now we're gonna come back here really quick, just because there's two items over here I want to get, and I know I can get them now, and it's not a big backtrack. Again, for the most part, I'm saving cleanup for the end of the game, like I did in Guacamelee 1. But still, although I think technically you can get the item down here without Poyo Glide, you just need to carefully time a double jump, a dash punch, and a Rooster Uppercut. I think. I've never done it, but it looks like it's possible, so it probably is. Though ultimately this game is a little more specific with what it wants you to do in regards to those. Do you have an appointment with Mr. Diabolito? He's just upstairs doing his triple checks about paperwork. I'm guessing this is about the repairs to the shortcut walkway? Actually, while we're here, can I get your opinion? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being satisfactory and 5 being tortured, how do you feel about watermelon paintings? I mean, I like paintings, I like watermelons. Thanks, your input is most appreciated. Lovely day, isn't it? I guess? Well, let's just go see what Satan has to say to us. Juan the Luchador? Tostada? I haven't seen you guys around in a while. Or alive at all, for that matter, since Kalaka killed you. Death doesn't always stick, though. I get it. Anyway, it is I, your old frenemy, chief executive down the world. It's me, dudes, the devil. I'm trapped in this bangin' rooster body for eternity, as you might remember. So welcome to my domain, or what's become of it, anyway. This is my desk now. Things have not been going so well down here. Salvador has disbanded all of our special committees. No one even fills out their paperwork properly anymore. Someone turned the 7th week of hell into a skating rink. It's horrible. I assume you're trying to stop Salvador. I don't blame you. Best of luck, guys, really. You have a lot of ground to cover if you plan to catch up with him, though. A little bird told me he already has 2 of the relics and is closing on the 3rd as we speak. The Jade Relic? That's the one we gave Jaguar. We should hurry. He could be in trouble. Fly, my friends. Use the timeline rift just behind me. Alright, thanks, Satan. Good to see you're doing well. Although, hell's looking a bit more like Massachusetts right now, honestly. Hey, how do you like my car? She's a beaut, eh? A real beaut. Love to take her for a spin on a sunny day like this. Yep, just got her cleaned. For my dad. It's my dad's. Well, have a nice day now. I don't like the look of this car! Die, 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 Grand Theft Mayhem! I'm sorry. No! Wow, Juan, what came over you? Yeah, I don't know, man. My dad's gonna freak! Sorry, dude. Just felt like some Capcom was flowing through me for a second there. I don't know why. But now we're back in the Badlands, and we're actually in the very bottom left of the map, I believe. And our goal is to get back to Villachula, or Villachula, I guess it would be. I don't speak Spanish. Psst, take you down hiding from the chicken Illuminati. You believe me, right? Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I'm the one who knows the truth. I mean, you are like the third or fourth person we've talked to mentioning that. You know, I don't think I've read all that dialogue. But it doesn't matter, because now I can dress sharp like Satan himself. Again, I don't think the actual costumes for Juan and Tostada do any differences beyond their normal character stuff, unlike the first game. It's the different characters that have different play styles. And I'll go over those towards endgame. Now, admittedly, this is probably the portion of the game I'm the most fuzzy on, because it's around here where the game kind of starts to open up, but not really. Because I mentioned this briefly, I believe, in Guacamelee 1, and I've even seen some people talking about this on YouTube. The Guacamelee games are Metroidvania almost in title alone, because for the most part, they're very linear adventures when you're just playing through them. It's when you're going for every item and having to backtrack like a Metroid game with your new powers that it really tends to shine like that. Otherwise, it's more so a puzzle platformer featuring brawling elements. And I'm fine with that as it is, but I know some people who want a Metroid game aren't going to find exactly what they want here. I'd recommend Hollow Knight for that, or several other games, really. Axiom Verge, especially. Anyway, in this little battle scene, we got a new enemy, skeletons with bombs for heads. And when you destroy them, their heads do remain, and they will explode into fire, and like with the normal fire-throwing enemies, you can't stand on the fire, but enemies can, and you can dodge through it, you just don't want to stand on it, generally. It's not a very good idea. One thing I like about the Guacamelee games, though, and I believe I mentioned this in the first game, is due to how they give you power-ups and the way that they use level design is by placing blocks exclusive to those power-ups in certain points in the level design. Unlike, say, a Zelda game or even certain Metroid games, I feel like you're using every single ability throughout the game no matter what, a fair amount. The only obvious exception is the abilities you get at endgame, because there's just not much left at that point. Because this could have very easily been like a Zelda game where like each area has, you use a lot of this one ability in it and then you don't intend to use it much outside of that, but they thankfully don't do that. One thing I find myself doing very often in Guacamelee 2, because there's a lot more of a chance for it, is just throwing enemies into spikes. But because I'm relatively fresh from Guacamelee 1 compared to when I first played both of these games, I find myself doing that less, because in Guacamelee 1, there wasn't nearly as much opportunity to throw enemies into spikes just from using an ability or your basic 1-2-3 combo. Usually the closest there was maybe some lava or a green teleport water nearby, but in this game they gave you more opportunities to do it. So I heard you guys like exploders, because we got another thing of exploders here. The exploder type trials like this that you're going to be encountering through the first half or third of the game, maybe 2/3 even, aren't too bad again. The most they're going to do is just spawn an exploder in one region, then do it on the opposite side of the screen with a specific colored shield, and just have you get over there as quickly as you can. Later on in the game, though, when the timers start getting a lot stricter, I hope you're good on reaction times. They also tend to try and make it so that you end one of those with exactly enough stamina points where you can not die. But that also might not always be the case. Hey, another baby Albresia! Oh god, the mama Albresia! Actually, I'm wondering, is this supposed to be the same one that died in Guacamelee 1 because we failed to kill Kalaka in this timeline? Huh. It's actually a legitimate query I never thought about before. But look at it, it's so fuzzy and nice. The Abrisia was actually one of my favorite set pieces in Guacamelee 1, just because it's such a nice design. This particular costume chest took me a while to get to my first playthrough because I just couldn't figure out the proper jump timing. As you can see, nothing has really changed. But thankfully I did manage to get it within a few quick tries, so let's just get that costume, the Abrisia costume, which is probably my favorite Tostada costume change. I just like the color palette. Now that we're seeing Abrisia, we see those trees in the background. We are right next to Zatabe's house. Oh, you met Malma Abrisia? She's such a sweetheart. Don't wake her up, though. She's pretty moody when she's awake. Alright. And we have a pretty clear place to go now, since there's a KO headbutt block over here to the right that we couldn't quite do anything with before. And as you can tell by these things in the background and on the map, there's a golden chicken statue near here, so let's check it out. And we can't do anything here yet. If you were able to transform back into Wrestler Juan in these areas, you'd be able to just jump up there, but no, we can't do that until later. That's just meant to tease you so you can remember, okay, this is here for later. Our real goal is just farther to the east. That is one thing I like about the Guacamelee games, particularly 2 over 1, is that in the case you can't see a chest directly, it'll place it on the map, or rather you can see a chest but you can't get to it quite yet. They will place it on the map just so you know it's there. I feel like the range for it's a bit generous at times, but I'll take it. Ow! Now, true progression is at the very top of this shaft, but we want to head over here first for a little secret. Well, it's not very well hidden, but it's a secret all the same. Welcome to Pico de Gallo, Grindiest Timeline. You there, please, if you can, help our humble town. A shadowy figure was seen climbing the sacred mountain. Some sort of shambling beast making horrific sounds. That's when the troubles began. This volcano had not been active for centuries, but now our homes are being destroyed. The old gods must be angry with us. I fear they won't stop until those beasts are vanquished. Unless someone can help us, our town is toast. The path up the mountain is treacherous, though, especially now. If you plan to brave it, just please be careful. Well, I know that was a lot to take in. Do you not want me to say all that again? Oh shit, I hate these. Yes? Okay, no! God, no, don't repeat yourself again. So you don't want me to not tell you again, or you do? Just making sure. My brain... no? Okay, really don't want to belabor this, but I'm just confirming 100% that you seriously want me to repeat the whole spiel again. Ness? Come on, man, I don't have all day to chat here. You just have to wing it. Good luck up there. Okay. Could this be the end of our quaint volcano-side town? I love cats. Ha ha ha. Okay. Hey, look, a skeleton. Except not quite. The game's an RPG now. Hidden throughout the world are various timeline rifts like that take you to very minor side areas like this that have some sort of centralized gimmick, usually satirizing another genre. This one's RPGs. You have 3 attacks. KO Headbutt, which does 70 damage to the enemy in front. Dash Punch, which does 30 to everything in a row. And Heal, which heals, I want to say like 35 plus health. I don't remember the exact amount. I rarely use it. It's a fun little satirization for the first fight, but then you realize each one of the fights that we're going to be doing here, there's like 5 of them, are over a minute long and slow and tedious. I'm fast-forwarding all future ones, just because, yeah. And they knew it was tedious because one of the rewards you get from one of the later battles is patience +1. You know, there's something to be said about satirizing a genre. But when you satirize it by doing the exact same shit some of the stuff within that very genre does, you're doing the exact same thing, so what's the point of the satire? If this was maybe 2 battles long, it wouldn't be too bad, but since it's like 4 or 5 or 6, it drags on a bit. And that tends to be a theme with these little side areas. There's one in particular I'm thinking of, which, due to the main thing it's making fun of in the games industry, kind of just plays it straight at the same time. To a lesser extent than real-life versions of it, mind you, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Probably next part after next. I'm not exactly sure yet. Pacing for this game is a bit weird. The best thing I can say for all these battles is try to alternate between KO, headbutt, and dash punch just to take care of as much damage as you can as quickly as you can. Otherwise, you're just going to be taking care of things relatively easily. And I forget what death does. Oh, hey there. What brings you all the way up here? Quiet type, eh? Oh, great. We love an audience. We found this amazing place to jam up here. The acoustics are just incredible. Check it out. Why do you look so grumpy? Were you even listening? Wait a minute. Where's our skeleton posse? Did you destroy them all? You'll never stop our jams. Defend yourself. Hello, reused assets from the first game. Yeah, the trio of the mountain is the boss for this, but they just have more HP. Once you take care of the enemy in front with the KO headbutt, just dash punch until the one in the back is dead, and then just KO headbutt the rest of the time. Since it only does 20 damage per, you're good. Fine, I'll stop. Nobody supports the arts. You know, I'm thinking about it. I don't think they ever do a single joke about you leveled up. Come on, guys. It's like one of the most interesting things you can do with this. Ultimately, though, this is worth it. Hey, while you're here, check out my music cloud. Haha, no thank you, Twitter person. Because you do get a pretty decent chunk of cash. You were amazing. Whoa, he did it? All those skeletons. Peace and quiet at last. Thank you, Luchador. Yeah, it is quiet, isn't it? Almost makes you miss those tunes coming down from the mountainside. I guess they were pretty terrible. Anyway, thank you, hero. Now we can start to rebuild. Okay. And with that, we're done here. It's just a one-off joke that goes on a bit too long, which to some people is actually a bit of a criticism with the series in general. Because admittedly, some of the jokes in Guacamelee can drag on, especially when they're jokes mixed in with the gameplay. And 2 is definitely not free from that, but ultimately it's such a minor thing, and since it's optional, I don't really give a shit. If it was required, that's one thing. Like, I know someone I talked to at one point said that the first, like, 10 minutes of the game, when you go through the Limbo reference into the Bad Dudes reference, and all that went on for about 2 minutes too long, which, yeah, I guess, but I don't really care. With that, though, we are right next to Villachula, so let's head back into town. And now we actually get to be here in the World of the Dead, and I gotta say, I love this place's theme in the World of the Dead. It's a lot more urban sounding than the main theme, but still. Hello, Luchador. Nice even for a stroll, isn't it? Yeah, I guess. Now, coming here at this point in the game, there is a little bit more you can do, and by that I mean you can do this little skeleton rush, but now we can also explore this area in the World of the Dead and see what all the people have to say to us. The dialogue here is the big draw. The most you can do also is complete that one side quest we started where we need to try and find that one elderly mariachi band member's guitar, which we will be doing. But otherwise, I think the only thing I can do is complete that one side quest that I forget to do, where I talk to that dude and do all the moves. Which, we'll get to that eventually. And the weird thing is, we still can't technically fully explore this area because we need another chicken power-up to reach the highest peaks of it. But now we can go down here because I remember that this area exists. If I recall correctly, you can do this as soon as you come here. I just forgot to because I saw the purple block and went, oh, that's for later for some reason. Because, you know, I'm a selective dumbass. It happens. Because all you need to get through this area is the Poyo shot. You don't need the Poyo glide to get through it at all. So, if you can do it, you can do it. The only thing that getting this late made me miss out on is 2 rooms I could have progressed farther in. So it's not a big deal, and plus it's not going to be going back for everything anyway. It doesn't matter in the long run beyond just some minor wasted time. Ah, well. In a strange way, the chicken shrines remind me a lot of the shrines from Breath of the Wild, in that they're just very self-contained challenges. The true chosen one shows no fear. You throw yourself into danger, but will you throw yourself into a wall? I'm kidding, don't do that. Just Poyo shot yourself into these bouncy bumpers. And now we get access to the Poyo bumpers. It's not a true power-up like the other ones. We can just bounce off them like a ping pong ball. Did I say ping pong? I've said that like twice this past week, and I said ping pong instead of pinball both times. I don't know why. Like pinball bumpers. That's the proper term, Kyle. There you go. Now you're playing with your brain that's actually being used properly. But yeah, the Poyo bumpers, the interesting thing about them, yeah, they bounce you between them, but the Poyo shot actively continues between it, and it's an active hitbox the entire time. So if there are enemies there, they'll get hit, but if they're attacking, you will get hit. So be careful. Otherwise, though, it's just a natural extension of the Poyo shot. It doesn't actively help you like you'd think. It's more so just a bonus thing. But it's nice to have. Makes the areas more dynamic. I forget if this is ever required just for this story. I know it is for 100% for obvious reasons, but for storyline, I don't think it's ever required. With that, now let's go and explore Villachula's dead world properly. But first I should probably go and get what's up here. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. This is probably the point in the game where money starts to become a lot more available, and therefore your power-ups will start coming in more regularly with it. Mostly just due to the regularity, in which case you're getting high combos or decent secrets being found. Did my eyes deceive me? Was that Supper or the snake that just passed me? Whoever that was, he beelined it straight for the Albrija Allegra. That's not good. We should probably get over there. We're preparing for another fiesta tonight. We throw parties pretty often here. No responsibilities in the afterlife. That sounds good. And oh my god. It's him! Should we decorate with the blue or the green streamers tonight? Or wait for it, aquamarine. Ooh, I like that idea. Uh-oh, did I remember to invite Diego? I forgot to add him to the guest list last time. Wasn't too happy about that. Understandable. Another beautiful day, and the market's bustling. I should mention the next 5 minutes or so are just me taking a tour around talking to one in the dead world. Have you met Satabe, the beautiful witch who lives in the Badlands? She visits town sometimes. A lot of items in this shop come from her. Is it just me or do the spooky black bobs get bigger and closer? Rad. Oh my gosh, Tatami has such awesome hair. I wish my hair were constantly flowing in the unseen wind like hers. I love all the neon signs in this town. So bright environment to make me feel alive. Ish. That's a strange sight. Are those black holes out in the distance? What is it? Can't you see I'm busy here? What's that? Panchito's guitar? Well, I let Gabriella borrow it, but she passed away last year. That reminds me, I should really visit her grave. We'll get over there eventually. We got more dead people to talk to. This is the choir side of town. How many rowdy parties being thrown here? We're more into silent mariachi. That's an oxymoron. Either way, this house here is pretty much the counter to the other one here in town, where instead of using a lot of your wrestler one abilities to get to treasure, you use almost all your chicken abilities. There's exactly, I think, 1 or 2 more items we can't get in there yet, though, because we're not quite upgraded on the chicken yet. Uh-oh, I might have accidentally locked myself out of the house. Do you know any good locksmith Lucidor? Nope. This bush has the nicest flowers in the whole town. I would know. I water and care for it myself. That's good, kid. Nice to have hobbies. I didn't know I needed phalange palm trees before, but now I see them and I love them. Where's that aesthetic on Tumblr, huh? It actually probably already exists, knowing that hell site. Who am I kidding? Every social media site's a hell site. Either way, Gabriella, we actually talked to earlier. We just need to come all the way over to here, and here she is. Hmm? Oh, Pancho's guitar. I let Arturo borrow it before I passed. If my memory serves, he likes to hang out in the town by the fountain. And we've actually talked to that dude as well, due to my prior discussions with everyone in town. It's the dude just to the right of the fountain. Hey, Arturo. You've come looking for Panchito's guitar? What a coincidence. I was just at the mariachi club. I went there to bring the guitar back to him. So it was already there, meaning we just practically wasted our time. I hate these kind of side quests. Hey, you ever wonder why we're here? Like, why not 50 yards over in that direction? Good question. Farewell, old Panchito. May they treasure you in the next life as we did in this one. Oh no, Luchador, you've come too late! Panchito has just passed away, but he did so with a smile on his face holding his beloved guitar. He left something for you backstage to thank you for your efforts. I only wish you could have seen how happy you made him. Well, I have a pretty strong feeling that he's doing just fine. Ow. Yeah, look, just fine. Welcome back, Panchito. How wonderful to make music with you once again. We thank you for everything, Luchador. We'll always remember this. I see you there, Senor Brett. This next one goes out to you. My goodness, they sound even better than they did when I was alive. Death hasn't slowed Pancho down one bit. I've waited my entire afterlife to see Panchito and his band perform. It was worth every moment. That's nice. And that's just about the entirety of Villachula explored in the world of the dead. This store has been a historical landmark here for almost 70 years. Yeah, it's old now, but I love it. Sure would be a shame to see it torn down. Yep, a real shame. I don't get that joke, if there is one there. I hope we're not too late. What? The Infernio? The last relic as promised, Lord Salvador. In all of its beauty. Evil wins once more. Quiet. No one talk over my monologue. Finally, the gate to El Ultramundo will open. Sunglasses! ¿Qué? Initiating merging of the relic sequence. Ow. Well, that happened. You're finally awake. We found you passed out after the ritual. Were you hit by the blast? Did you have any dreams? It's true, Luchador. I have deceived you and your friends. I'm an honorable servant of Lord Salvador. You will be kept in this cell until we decide what to do with you. Lord Salvador. I can't believe you're the Juan that deleted Calaca. I used to admire you. We both came from nothing. We had to earn our place. But now you've wasted it. Poor technique, self-doubt. How dare you wear a mask and belt? Being a luchador means going above and beyond in the name of the mask. Testing the limits, making sacrifices. I'm only keeping you alive out of pity. You're no luchador to me. No need to thank me, old friend. Convincing Salvador to spare your life was the least I could do. Thanks, I guess. Psst. I'm not imagining that, am I? Is the cat gone? I revealed to you a possible escape route. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I don't want to do this. Oh, this place looks nice in the world of the dead. Guess I have no choice. The main gimmick of this prison is toilets. And the flow of the water switches between the world of the dead and the world of the living. What sucks blows and what blows sucks. We also get a new enemy here. I forget the exact name of it at the moment, but it's the one on the top left of the screen. It'll target enemies with its magic and make them go berserk, where their health is drastically increased, as is their attack power. Whenever you see one of them, I want to say they're called witch doctors, target them first, because they're going to be more worth the kill early on than they are later. I don't think the boosted enemies give any extra gold or health or anything, so you really should just target them first. Thankfully, I think each one of them can only target one enemy at a time. Shamans. Witch doctor is close enough, but yeah, I am technically incorrect. Oh well. At the start, they're not too bad, but once they start throwing their boosts at some of the more powerful enemies, like the slammers or the big one-armed skeletons, you're gonna be in for some health and some pain. The medieval conquistador-looking enemies as well, they could get a bit ridiculous with. Yeah, that's a good doubled health bar there. I don't think it's an exact doubling, but yeah, it is for some enemies, and it sucks. One thing I will say about this prison area, though, try and get as much along the way as you can. Because due to the extraordinary linearity of this particular area, you're going to be, if you miss an item, you're going to be backtracking quite a bit to get it again. And that sucks. There are shortcuts, of course, but the way I play this area, the only items left over are ones in the final third, which are right towards where we're going to be leaving the area anyway. If you miss something in this first third or so, that's going to be a much meatier backtrack. Not as meaty as playing through it on its own, obviously, just again due to the fact that they do put shortcuts in these areas for things like this. But still, I wouldn't recommend having to go back through it again. The armadillos getting the boosts are probably one of the most annoying just because they get a drastic speed increase as well, and in a game like this, enemy speed is a scarier thing than enemy strength in my eyes, because if they can potentially hit me from one hit, allow me to recover, and then hit me again, that's worse than one stronger hit to me. I will say, though, this is probably one of my favorite areas to go through on a first playthrough, just because it's non-stop platforming challenges with only a relative few amounts of lucha rooms compared to some of the other places in the game, which I do like. I'd rather this game focus more on its platforming challenges than its combat from time to time, even though the combat is strong. No, I don't have a spoon, sir. You also want to be careful of these lasers right out of Quick Man stages. While they're not instant kill, you can still get surprised by them if you're not paying attention, and that sucks to happen, because you just get really... You get hit in a really dumb way, and then you just kind of look at yourself like you're an idiot. Look how big that health bar is! Christ, is that big enough for you? Take care of shamans as soon as you can, again. Although, the electric beams are also very much like spikes and water, where if an enemy touches them, they'll die as well. In fact, I'll just let this guy... Yeah, that feels good. In a way, it kind of reminds me of, and I think I maybe mentioned this exact scenario in Guacamelee 1, this one part in Symphony of the Night, where you're in the catacombs for the first time, or at least I think it's the catacombs. It's the area with all the water and the ferrymen. And there's this one area where you block a flow of water off with a box, and like 3 or 4 Spear Knights slowly have their room filled with water, and they start panicking towards the top because they know they're not going to make it out of that alive. And I don't know why, but I've always just found that room very funny. And this stupid spider. These spider enemies are probably my favorite enemy design in the game we've seen thus far, just because I find them extraordinarily silly looking, but in a kind of cute way. So I'm trying to say is Hot Topic would probably make merchandise of them if they knew they existed. Yeah, Hot Topic. I know they're seen as a preeminent part of the teenage lifestyle here in the US, particularly in more urban areas. Was never a fan of their products too much because I could get a lot of it for cheaper at other places. Helps that my local mall lost their Hot Topic after a few years because it wasn't the most popular thing around. The Spencers lasted longer. Then it went. And then it came back because Spencers came back again for some reason, which I don't quite understand why. But hey, yeah, I'll take it. Flowers with shields are probably one of the worst enemies in the game just because if you get hit by another one, it's so hard to get back up in time to be able to damage them. Just due to animation lock, really. It's the unfortunate thing about making an enemy with an unavoidable attack like this, but at the same time, if their attack was avoidable, there would be 0 threat. So it's kind of a damned either way sort of situation. And I'm sad that the fire can't hurt flowers. That would just be good detail. Come on, game, you could do it. And now it looks like we're at a dead end of sorts. We have to go up to progress, but thankfully there's a golden chicken statue right here that's going to take us right to where we need to go. Whose plumbing is this big? What the hell? I love this song, by the way. The prophecy was true. The prophecy. The fabled chicken man has descended from above. Chosen one. The chosen one will deliver us from the bird who must not be named. The bird must not be named. Egg thief. Our precious golden egg was cleverly stolen by Zope. Zope! I mean the bird who must not be named. He infiltrated our haven through the sewers and let Cactuardo in. We have no idea how they got through, though. It's a physics mystery. A fistery. But who are we to question miracles? I must show you something. Come with me. By the way, the bathroom's to the left. Thank you. You know what? Actually, I could go to use that. Let's see what's going on over there. It's alright, Chosen One. This golden toilet's reserved for Chicken Illuminati only. Maybe we'll let you use it if you prove yourself to be worthy. And even then, it's strictly for transportation. Don't get any funny ideas. Okay, then. Guess this explains the chicken statues, though, and... Crow! First, you must vanquish the evil vulture and save Chickendom, as foretold by the prophecy, and we shall be forever grateful. But if you can also assemble this special key, Chosen One, I will help you open this important door. Important door. Behind the important door lies the legendary special message. Special message! Remember to come back here if you manage to find the 5 pieces of the special key. Special key! Alright. This is a strange sidetrack, but okay. On a serious note, the special key, if you can't tell just by the number of it, is this game's equivalent to the orbs. That is an entirely optional thing, but we're going to want to do it anyway for best ending. By the way, things are not going to get any easier for you, Chosen One. In fact, I'm sorry to say, and I know this is unexpected, they might get even harder. But then, after a period of time, they'll become easier again. I apologize for this shocking revelation, but it is not usually the way of things. But these are dark times. Perhaps this power will aid you in the fight against our enemies. And now I get the Poyo slide. We're all counting on you. The best way to describe the Poyo slide is actually the charge kick from Mega Man 5. By pressing down and B, you do a little slide across the ground, which can break orange blocks, but it's also an outright attack that will knock enemies straight up into the air. As well, when you use it, you'll slide over any holes that you stay at the same altitude when you use it. So, for instance, you can do this to get some extra distance before doing a Poyo shot. The chicken slide is a surprisingly useful platforming tool, and it's one of my favorite abilities in the game because of it. Getting kills with it is a little bit hard, but I'd rather use this in chicken combat than the Poyo shot, just because unless an enemy's already airborne, the Poyo shot's not going to be the most useful. Also, a little overkill in the enemies here, game. Thankfully, they at least give you an instant kill tool like that. I want to say my biggest priority at this point in the game is just making sure I can do as much damage as possible, because that means not only will I kill enemies faster, but I'll probably get more gold more quickly, and therefore, you know, be able to afford more upgrades more quickly. Also, don't be like me in my first playthrough and right now, where I completely forget that there's that block there that I can transform here on the left, because I just walked all the way back for no reason. I don't know why. I think it's just because the area is generally sparkly anyway because of the gold, but I have such a hard time seeing that sparkling block that isn't there in the world of the dead. Well, that was weird. Alright, let's turn into chickens and find a way out of this prison hotel through the sewage system to be a different timeline goatman in the swamp town. Alright, sounds logical. Something I like about this area, though, even though we got the chicken slide here, it's not the main gimmick for the area. The toilet switching is still going to be the prominent gimmick for the place, and we're going to get the introduction of another new mechanic here anyway in a few minutes. And I like that they don't limit themselves on a gimmick for an area just entirely based off what item you get in there. Because that's a problem that Metroid games have, Zelda games very much have, and such, and I'm glad they don't. We also have, this. See that chicken feather there? We are now Mega Chicken. When you're like this, you get a really rockin' tune, and when you touch something, they die. No questions asked, no exceptions. We are pure destruction incarnate, and I must admit it's very satisfying. The game only does that in the base game. I haven't tried the DLC yet out, obviously. About 2 or 3 times? Which is a shame because I feel like it's the right kind of catharsis that this game could use more often. Not that the game's already not cathartic as it is with how the combat is, but every little bit just helps a little more, you know? Shaman dies. Down on the bottom right of the screen, by the way, that chicken slide block is one of the examples of shortcuts I brought up earlier. Again, I recommend getting as many items on the way through here as you can, so you don't have to backtrack all this way. But in the case you do, they're there. Personally speaking, I just like to get as much done here as I can the first run. Again, the only items you can't get on your first run through this area are those in the last third of it, if even, more like last fifth, probably. And those are so close to the entrance of the area that we're going to have access to that there's not going to be any point in not just going back to grab those. What a painful world you must live in where there's only 2 toilets and they both lead to each other. I do like, though, that even this late into the game, they're still doing interesting things with the enemy layouts and the gimmicks of an area, instead of just doing outright full brawl rooms, because each one having its own little unique flavor to it does make them stand out in the long run. There's a reason I can say, oh god, I hate this one, or this one's not too bad. And I like that they have that little balance going on. I have a feeling you're actually supposed to knock these both of those skeletons into that electric pulse, but I'm bad. We also have the rare example of a chicken slide switch there, which just looks silly. Honestly, despite the boosts, I think some enemies get a little bit easier when they're boosted up by a shaman. Namely, these guys, I feel like they're a bit more aggressive and therefore a bit easier to hit since they're going to be attacking more often and therefore more open to attack after their own attacks. But they're the exception more often than the rule. Thanks for the assist. No time to chum around. We can flap our gums later. Let's make like a whistle and blow, dude. Do chickens have gums? I don't think they have teeth. Geese have teeth. I don't want to think about this. I know I brought up a couple times that I feel like some of the areas in this game are slightly longer than they should be. And it's areas like this that semi-highlight that, just due to where we are in relation to the objective marker on the map screen. Because that's... I don't think I brought that up yet, actually. I forget if it was a thing in the first game or not, because it's been a bit, but... In this game, if you check the map screen, you do have a little marker on the map showing you where your next objective is, storyline-wise. Which, I like that it does that because I like having those a la Metroid Zero Mission just as a good idea of where we're supposed to be heading next all the same. But, it's times like this where the game actively takes you in the opposite direction to head towards it anyway that I feel like they could have just maybe taken a room or two out in certain places to make things flow a little bit better. Because this is a longer game than the first game. No doubt, but it's just one of those little things like, eh. I think this is also where we start fighting these enemies. These weird lightning guys that dodge you more times than I'd like to admit. They are very fast enemies and they have a lot of health. Needless to say, if they get boosted, you're not going to have a good time. And I think they're the only enemy in the game that has two outright different attack patterns with whether or not they're in the air or not. They're powerful, you're just gonna want to get lightnings down quickly. Target them first if you can, otherwise target shamans first. And you're gonna start seeing them both a good bit from here on in the game. But here we have a new mechanic, refresher orbs. The way the game phrases it here is as if it'll just give you an additional uppercut, but no, touching a refresher orb restores your stamina more quickly, but it also completely replenishes any uses of special abilities in the air. For instance, you can chain uppercuts like this, you can chain dash punches, you can dash, you can chain frog drops, I'm not sure why you would, or even the Olmecs headbutts, Poyo shots, anything. I love these things because they actually make platforming... They allow for some interesting platforming puzzles. They look fairly straightforward now, but some of the optional ones, it becomes almost a button mash of sorts, and I find it pretty entertaining, honestly. In a way, they remind me of a mechanic from Celeste, which is a game I still need to pick up at some point and play because it looks really good, and I like platformers like that. I just haven't had the time or money. For instance, Pokemon Sword and Shield comes out this week, and... well, that's where my money's going this week, but oh boy. So many games, not enough time. Same with Gundam models, really, because I do a lot of those in my spare time. I'm not sure if I've actually mentioned that much on the channel thus far. The refresher orbs, though, I think are where the game really starts to pick up in terms of... not fun, but in terms of enjoyability, I guess is what I'm looking for. Because the game's fun, but the platforming challenges become a lot more enjoyable from this point on because it's not going to be a lot of the same like it has been so far from Guacamelee 1, just with a new coat of paint. They're going to do a lot more unique stuff with those, and I'm very happy about that. And god damn it, I hate these enemies. Although, for some reason, saying that reminds me, something else that's back in Guacamelee 2 that was in Guacamelee 1 is fan mods. Guacamelee 1, especially, or particularly at least the Steam version, you could very easily mod in new costumes for Juan and Tostada. I used to use one that was very well made of Samus for a good bit. And those are back in this game, but I don't think they're in quite the same amount that they were in Guacamelee 1, either just due to how new the game is, relatively speaking, therefore it doesn't have the years of support like the first one did yet, or if just because it was harder to mod. Because one of the big differences in this game compared to the first one, structurally, is that the first one was designed primarily to play on a Vita first, and that's why it worked the way it did in some ways, whereas this game was made with the PS4's architecture in mind, which is why some things work the way they do now. So I'm not sure if that can make modding easier. I'd figure for a PC version all it would be is mostly just changing around some files, so I doubt it. But I'm no modder, so I don't have that detail in my head, because that's never been my specialty. Although it also makes me wonder, thinking about modding, has someone modded the Batman Arkham games to make Juan a playable costume? Because I feel like Guacamelee, I don't think it should ever go 3D, but its kind of combat could very well work in 3D, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Although, admittedly, if there's a way they can make this game work in cel-shaded graphics, I suppose, it could look beautiful in 3D, but I don't think... to kind of branch off on this topic, to kind of summarize my thoughts on this sort of thing, I'm of the mindset in movies where we need to stop doing live-action remakes of animated ones and instead do animated remakes of live-action ones because there's a lot more imagination that can be explored there. I don't think every game needs to be 3D. In fact, I think certain 3D games should be remade into 2D to see what they could do with some of that art style stuff. Again, though, games are a bit of a different medium to talk about that in general, just because there's very little reality in the way, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. So talking about remakes in different styles is a bit harder to talk about, but also easier? Art is weird. I laughed when I was in this sequence the first time around. You're just completely going around this room with this shaman annoying you the entire time. And honestly, looking back, it's just kind of annoying to play through, but I do find the fact that we get like 5 or 6 different pinatas piled up there in the top right pretty entertaining. One thing that this prison area really alerted me to on my first playthrough, though, was compared to Guacamelee 1, I really like Salvador as a villain compared to Calaca. Because while Calaca, I think, had funnier dialogue, in terms of a character, Salvador at this point seems to have a lot more going on in his life than just, I had something bad to happen to me, so I made a deal with the devil, and now I'm evil kind of stuff, like Calaca was. And making a villain in a Metroid-like game any kind of interesting is always kind of a challenge in and of itself, because since these kind of games are so exploration-based, you don't get a lot of cutscenes with a villain. The only times I can think of a game like this getting a lot of cutscenes are Symphony of the Night, in fact, all the Castlevania games, really. Mirror of Fate, especially. This and Guacamelee 1... Axiom Verge, and from my memory, that's about it. Most of the other games tend to go for an atmospheric storyline kind of thing. There's still a couple guard towers between us and the scram. Should be a kick for a guy like you. Find me if you're in a pinch sometime, eh? You did me a favor, and Clux don't forget a favor. See you in Zehuantanejo, Pally. Or the funny papers, whichever I get to first. I'll admit, I was not expecting a reference to Shawshank Redemption in this game on my first playthrough. Because that is a very different toned medium than the rest of the stuff this game references. Oh no. Juan, the sky, the black clouds, they're getting worse. Oh! Those things again. I mean, I'm sure your family's alright. Things can't be any worse there than in this timeline. Come on, vamos. These Tetramino things that we first saw back at the start of the game are now going to be a gameplay element through a lot of stages. Since they're red outlines, they're instant kill for you and enemies alike. And we're also going to start seeing some powered up skeletons from here on out. Similarly to the Void Skeletons. In fact, no, they are just still the Void Skeletons from Guacamelee 1, Super Turbo Championship Edition. I don't know why it took me so long to remember that title. They have a lot more health, but their damage isn't too radically different. Gonna be platforming around these things a lot in future areas, so get used to seeing them. They're also one of the reasons that we can't get one of the items here in this area yet, so we're going to be going through a bit first. Oh, a Chuzu statue. Ah, there you are. Let me teach... Juan, I'm here to teach you KO headbutts. Hey, you, can I help you? No good. No, I'm good. Just teaching headbutt. This is Wild Run. Oh no, I'm in the wrong place again. Yeah, you have to telewarp back and make a left at the Quantum Rupture Flux. Oh, see, I went past it and took Insurgentes. Yeah, no, you went too far. Okay, well, thanks. Where were we again? Oh, yes, while grabbing onto a wall in human form, press up and Y to run up it. And we get wall run back from the first game. If there's now a straight wall, we can just run straight up it. And one thing I've never checked is if you go back to where you got the KO headbutt, if that Wait Shivo is now there. There's never a reason, at least the way I played the game, to go back to the Obsidian Temple, so I'm not sure. When I do a cleanup, I might actually check that out. The wall run, though, is also an attack, technically. It acts as a rooster uppercut, so if you ever have a red block above you that you can't exactly reach without an extra jump, and it's next to a straight wall, wall run is what you're supposed to use there. It doesn't have many combat potential abilities, but I guess you could if you tried hard enough. It's probably one of the few abilities in this game that I can say for a fact is just outright there for mobility. The only other one I can think off the top of my head is the charge shot and the Poyo glide. Everything else also has combat applications. And now it's time for me to finally get gold hits. So now we're going to start getting some extra income of gold all the same. Also, there's going to be a jump cut right here. That's because you can do this right now, but I waited until the end of that next room to get to it, and it's just faster for me to splice in this footage now to do it. That was dumb of me. You can transform in the chicken mid-glide after a wall run, and you'll still have your glide available. Certain other types of games with abilities like that, you probably wouldn't be able to do that, but you can completely do that here and not have any repercussions. And now we're back to the original run of this area. Something I like about this game, though, that not many other games in this genre do, beyond certain Metroids, really, is when you're just traversing through a room, they put enemies there just for the sake of fighting, and just smashing enemies and getting a combo count without doing anything just by trying to actually get through a room is admittedly satisfying. But for a game without a combat counter like, you know, most Metroid games, it doesn't feel quite right because it just means they're there just to be killed. And not that these guys are here just to be killed because they are, but it's a different kind of just here to be killed, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It feels like here they actually have some purpose for helping you get better at the game. And admittedly, with the game's comedic overtone, that's probably a thing as well. That was a bunch of words that probably didn't make sense to anyone but me, but I'm gonna keep it in anyway. I am clearly gifted at the English language, he said sarcastically. Now, the prison name is actually showing back up there because originally the episode ended there, but I realized I like to have these episodes be at around an hour or within a minute in either direction at a minimum. So having it be 57 minutes just did not sit quite right to me. So I recorded another 10 minutes of footage. We're not going to be seeing some of that 10 minutes until whenever we get to part 5, but yeah, we're here for a bit longer. This is thankfully the final combat section here in the prison, though. We're almost home free from here. They really like to throw everything we've seen in this place at us here. Now you see, the lightning enemies with colored shields, I'm fine. I still hate them, but I'm fine. When you get the white shields that take 3 hits, when they can move and get out of your combos as fast as they can with some of their moves, that's just dickish. I really don't like the lightning enemies whatsoever. Oh, hello, chicken. The Chosen One. We've decided to grant you permission to use our golden toilet, should you ever want to return to our headquarters. Reminder, for transportation only. So now that we're near the exits to the prison, we have a way back to get to the Chicken Illuminati headquarters at any time we wish. However, because the Chicken headquarters is actually on the map, they needed to make an absurdly long toilet tunnel to get back to it. And the first time through, this is fine. But going back through it again is tedious, because we actually have to see us go through it all the way each time. I'm gonna jump cut past it this time, though, and every other time, just because you don't need to see me going through toilet pipes for like 20 seconds straight. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. But you might be wondering exactly where we are on the map. And oh, that poor Olmec. Oh, that's sad. Well, on the map, we're right next to Puebluco. We're right where the president's house was back in the first game. Let's see how the people around here are doing. Is this it? Are the end times really coming? My only regret is I never completed my Lucha decks. How am I supposed to wrestle them all if 150 new ones come out every year? Actually, that's pretty topical. My poor baby ran into this witch's house. I'd go in to get her, but I'm too scared. Please, sir, find my baby. Hey, Luchador, what are you up to? Don't you have a home to be at? It's scary out here. Hey, kid. Did my mother send you? She's so overprotective. I just came here to take a break. What else can happen to me? I'm already dead. I guess I'll come out. It's not like I can hide for eternity. Lead the way, Mr. Lucha. My child, are you okay? You had me so worried. Yes, Mama, I'm fine. It's nice in there. Thanks, Luchador. I found a chest inside. It's yours if you want it, Mr. Lucha. And I will take that because more money is good money. Plus, money chests count on the completion total, so yeah. Ah! That was stupid of me. I forgot I did that. Pueblo in the World of the Dead, though, is about as flat as it was in the original game. But there are a couple things for us to grab here all the same. Juan, Dios mío, how are you still alive? Dark times, mi amigo. Reminds me of when Damien Arturo was planning to elope with Esther Fernanda after her evil twin Estefania Florinda planned to elope with Dario Andres. How dare he? How dare she? Dark times. Oh, soap operas, you're a thing. My daughter hasn't been well for a long time. She never goes out. Why has she become so reclusive? If only I could do something. Luchador, can you find out what's troubling her? Sure. Hi, Daniel Fortescue, by the way. My father passed away last year. I just want to be alone among his things. Being here, it's like he's still here with me somehow. Oh, to speak with him one more time. My poor girl said, what? But positions are such fleeting things. Won't you tell her for me that she doesn't need to spend her life here to keep me close? Tell her part of me is inside her, always. Tell her to start living her life and to be happy. Dad said that? You spoke to him? What am I saying? How could you have spoken to my father? That's impossible. I know you're just trying to cheer me up. Thank you anyways, Luchador. She didn't believe you? Please, tell her... Oh, I don't know what to say. Tell her I don't know what to say. Dad didn't know what to say? Maybe you did speak to him. He wasn't great with words. I feel better now. It won't be easy, but maybe it's time for me to face the world and start living again. Thank you, Luchador. Please take anything here that might be helping in your quest. Positions are such fleeting things. All that talking just for a single stamina up. Oh, well, I'll take it. Thanks for the free stuff, lady. I'm sorry you have to see the town like this. It's usually more pleasant with a lot less doom. I mean, hey, a little doom's every good now and again. Ooh, Poyo shot. We can't do anything here yet. We need to wait until another chicken ability for that. Which kind of sucks, but oh well. Hello, Luchador. Lovely day, isn't it? The dark stuff in the sky? Nothing to worry about. It'll pass. Yeah, you're probably right. Is it just as bad outside of town? I'm thinking of leaving here and hiding out elsewhere. I hear hell isn't too bad this time of year. Yeah, me too. Someone needs to clear up those voids so we can get back to enjoying the constellations at night. Jose the Chameleon, Hangman's Noose, the Dance of Seven Caballos. Fernando, where are you? Senor, have you seen my puppy? Oh, I'm so worried. Where could he be? He just up and disappeared. Teresa, I'll never get to tell her how I really feel. Why didn't I confess when I had the chance? Now it's too late. That's rough, buddy. Some poor soul touched the weird swirly black stuff. And now he's gone. Yeah. Juan, what's happening? Those black things are closing in on us. I'm too die to young again. Is all hope lost? Please hold me. I'm so scared and your muscles are so brave. I keep pinching myself hoping to wake from this nightmare. But I'm a very sound sleeper. Look, god damn, that's a heavy line. Damn. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we're going to be heading back towards the Council of Huechivos to see what we can do next. Thank you guys again so much for 230 subscribers, and I'll see you guys next time whenever a celebration is needed next. See you guys then.